So as far as the Patriot movement, and that's what LWN is, we are part of many patriots out there searching for the truth and delivering the news like it should be delivered. All right. Welcome, Warriors, Will Patriots, and my fellow Americans. My name is Mike. I'm the host of the Liberty Warrior. Give me liberty or give me death. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes our duty, folks. It is Tuesday night, July the 19th, 2022, and we are set and ready to flip the switch with Mel Carmein. And I'm telling you, man, this guy is full throttle. Really excited to have him back on. And yes, we are going to talk about 17-6-19. What does that mean? Well, 17 is Q, 6 is F, and 19 is S. QFS, we'll talk about Nasara Jasara. We'll talk about all the digital currency, what's going on in our world, and the differences between Mel and I, where we think what is going to be the switch that actually trips this whole thing off. I think we both can agree that a lot of it has already been installed, and we've been seeing it for quite a while. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Mel in here, and you guys do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, but more importantly, tonight is the show that you guys are going to want to share it everywhere, because tonight's word is going to be timber, timber, timber. Everything's coming down, and we win. God wins, we win. Here is the great Mel. How are you this evening, Mel?
Brother, let me tell you something. Not to get off subject, I gotta get an intro like that for my show. I was like, I'd have to sell like the tires on my dune buggy or something to buy something like that. That thing is a badass. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
I'm doing great, man. I could put you in touch with my guy, War Machine. First of all glory be to God, because he honestly has blessed LWN. He's blessed me with some amazing people that have come. Some of them have gone, but we're still all here, and we're still a family. And War Machine is a very talented and gifted individual who every time I give him a task, I'm telling you, dude, he smashes it. And I'm sure I could put you in contact with him, and he could help you with something with your show, because it's a great way to start everything off, man. It's just high pace, basically smash you right in the mouth. Let's get her going.
Absolutely. Well, the last time you and I talked, right, you were sort of like, oh, I don't know, Mel, this Nasara Jasara thing. You were a little bit on the fence. Now we're talking off camera before you hit the live button, and you're saying, holy shit, Mel. Things are happening.
Things are really happening, and they're unfolding at such a rapid pace. It's hard to keep up with it. We've actually started doing Friday and sometimes Saturday shows, just try to keep up with everything that's coming out. I mean, did you hear that there were explosions on the Hoover Dam this afternoon?
Yes. I get that news before anybody's. I got a Trump election room. I can't use that word F because somebody thinks they own the language. Not for long. You guys won't be owning anything real soon. But anyway, I got that early this morning, 8 o'clock this morning. Like, what? Somebody hit the Hoover Dam? Amazing stuff.
Yeah, a lot of things unfolding, people getting arrested. It's just nonstop. Well, for those of us who've been waiting quite a while, it's almost nonstop entertainment.
Oh yeah. There's no reason to be bored, my friend. There's so many moving parts. I mean, there's like at least 17 extra moving parts since the last time you and I
Mhm.
spoke, and the last shooter drop. Who knows? I mean, there's talk that they're going to go into Taiwan. There's talk that the last straw that's going to break the camel's back is going to be in Israel. There's talk that the Queen has been long gone, and they haven't made that announcement. These are all markers leading up to the final event. And that's it's got us glued because this is the most interesting movie anybody can ever watch.
Mhm.
You know,
What you speak of there, Mel, it really seems like things are building, and I think a lot of people feel that. I know a lot of people watching right now really feels that. It just keeps building and building and building, and I think we're getting real close to the very end.
no question about it. Absolutely, no question about it. Uh, you know, um, I always said I've been saying this for the last few months. Xi Jinping is trying to get rid of the CCP. Bolsonaro is a good guy. Putin is a good guy. Right now, Jassara Nassara, I hate to tell you, Mike, it's actually it's actually rolling out in Russia big time. They're already backed by gold, and there are people actually getting debt forgiveness right now as we speak in record numbers. Not like United States, they're doing little tests here and there. They're teasing us, and there's reports that are coming right back to us saying, "Hey, this guy just got his mortgage forgiven, and that guy got his student loan forgiven." Small stuff, right?
Hmm.
And I was on with Nino Rodriguez just a couple of days ago. He's like, "Hey, how do I get?" He goes, "I said, don't get excited. Don't get excited." I said, we're probably going to be the last ones to roll out totally because that's the way it's going to be. Because they have to knock down the America, the domino, the big domino is America. If they could knock down America, then they could bring in communism. Good luck with that, guys. Ain't happening.
Ain't happening. Okay, so you just hit on a couple of points that I want to talk about. One, you said um, that I was a skeptic, and yes, I am a skeptic, but I see a lot of things happening that's just unexplainable, and the only way that you can explain it is everything that we've been talking about is unfolding right before our eyes. And you mentioned Russia and how they've already got gold backed and they're rolling this out. I have done research on that, and from the research that I've found, the funny thing is the United Nations put all these sanctions on Russia, but yet Russia has a gold-backed currency that is outperforming every currency of the world. So how do you explain that other than what you just said there, Mel? It's absolutely amazing to see all this stuff start unfolding.
Yeah, all of the gold has been confiscated. The gold has been flown into Cheyenne Mountain. The gold is still being flown there today. There are quintillions and quintillions and quintillions of gold, tons of gold, quintillions of tons of gold all over the world. We haven't even touched the one in the Philippines yet, which was put there by the Japanese who thought they were going to win the war, go back and confiscate the war, confiscate the gold. But you know how that turned out. They
Mhm.
didn't win the war, and the gold is still there. Okay, so when they round up all the gold that's been stolen from all of us for the last thousands of years, people think the gold was stolen since Nixon called the dollar off the gold standard. No, it's been going on for eons, literally. You
Mhm.
know, and so you got enough gold to make every man, woman, and child, and even your pets multi-billionaires.
Yeah, and that's where I differ a little bit from you there, Mel, because um, I believe there's a lot of gold, but I worry about the fact that everybody would be millionaires because I believe it would be I don't know, it'd just be catastrophic to the world economy and who's going to work at that point.
They're not
Um,
going to do that. They're not going to do
okay,
that. They're not going to
all
hand
right,
out the gold and make you and me and everybody multi-billionaires. They're not going to do that. The reality is that I don't know what they're going to use all that gold for. I have no clue. It's much more than what they need. I know that the tunnels, for example, in the from Rome to Jerusalem was like 1,500 kilometers long. You know how much gold you could fit in a 1,500-kilometer tunnel? You're not going to
Well,
move that with. Yeah, go ahead.
there's been a few people that tried to actually calculate it, and I think it's too high.
It's really high. Yeah, but this is not something. There supposedly somebody told me yesterday. I think it was Leanna. She said to me, "Go on Google Maps or Google whatever that thing that shows you the world map. Whatever. I think it's a Google program, right? Google Earth.
Hmm.
And there are tons and tons of equipment, gold mining equipment in the Grand Canyon that they just abandoned. That's how much gold there is just in the Grand Canyon alone. They don't know what to do with it all. But they're not going to hand it out to everybody because, yeah. But what's going to happen as we go into the Jasara and Nasara. Let's say, for example, you're going to be a gazillionaire because you got Zims and you got Dongs and you got Boulevards and you got all these things that are going to be reevaluated. And you got XRP and you got XLM, you got XDC, you got all this stuff that's going to become, worth a lot of money. You're going to create. You're going to have to. You really have no choice. It's not like you. Oh, you have to really create a humanitarian project or multiple humanitarian projects because you got a problem. It's called too much money, right? So the
Hmm.
people that are going to get that $6,000 a month UBI, they be working for you. They got to go take care of humanitarian projects. They're not going to sit home and get $6,000 watching, Jeopardy or Let's Make a Deal or The Price is Right and all that stuff. They got to go do something for that money. People have a misconception that, oh my God, artificial intelligence is going to come in. We're going to give everybody a $6,000 UBI. No, that's not the way it works. I'm sure the people upstairs know exactly what the rules are. They're not telling us because it's not time yet.
Okay. Um, that's a good way to explain it because I think a lot of people misinterpret that everybody's going to be multi-millionaires, nobody's going to have to work, and I look at
No.
it as if that was the case, a cheeseburger at McDonald's be $100,000. It would be hyperinflation at such a record that it would make people's minds spin. Here's a question that I just pulled out of chat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why did gold go, or why is gold $30,000, but it's dropped down to $11,000 with the U.S. debt clock? Could you maybe explain that to us? Because we've been told lots of times, and I do believe it, that gold and silver are nowhere near the value that they should be. It's been manipulated. JP Morgan just got busted for it a while back, and they're back in the news. Seems like they're getting ready to have to. At first, they had to pay a huge fine, but I think they're going after them again. And those values have been manipulated for eons. It's they're nowhere close to the true value of gold and silver right now.
Yeah, well, whoever your listener is, I bet you he does not use Colgate toothpaste. Okay, first of all, he's probably a smart guy, and you're absolutely right. They tell you physically. They say, "Hey, here it is." They tell you in the debt clock that gold and silver prices have been manipulated since the beginning of time. That is the actual real price. I've seen gold as high as $48,000 gold to dollar ratio. Okay, so why are they telling you? They're telling you because they can manipulate the price and they could do whatever the hell they want because they are the owners of this planet. They own you and I. They tell us what to do.
Mhm.
Okay, I've seen silver as high as like 15,000 $16,000 an ounce, and I think silver is a lot more scarce than gold. I think there should be like silver and gold as far as and I could be wrong, but I think gold and silver should be at the same price at some point down the road. Why? Well, silver has a lot more uses than gold. You know what I mean?
Well, if you think about it there, Mel, they use it on, what is it, ballistic missiles. It's in your cell phones. You're correct. They use silver for all kinds of chips and microchips and all kinds of things. So the value of silver, I would agree with you, should be much higher than gold. And I'm not
And
an expert on that, but
yeah,
just from the rarity of it and how it's used, yeah, I would agree with that.
and the way they manipulate everything is with scarcity. They don't tell you everything because We've been living in a world of lies and deceit forever, you know. And so we're going into this new world that they're fighting. It's called, the interoperable ledger, the XRPL, the ledger, which is much more advanced than the blockchain. And they don't want this. They want programmable money. Like I've been telling a lot of people that don't understand what this is. If the CBDCs were to see the light of day, which I don't believe it will, because what's coming down the pike is something called DeFi, central DeFi, right? Definance, centralized definance. And when you have that kind of power coming in, that kind of technology coming in, where you can literally stake your money, your digital, where it doesn't even leave your wallet, and it creates what's called leverage, so that the future lenders of the industry is not going to be the banks. It's going to be maybe the exchanges of the XRPs and the digital assets, et cetera. And they're lending that money back out to industry contractors, manufacturers, whatever, and you're getting a half of 1%. You just became the bank. Now, if the banks can get their way and they get their CBDC way, which is not going to happen, they're going to try to program that money where you're going to have a certain amount of dollars that's programmable to buy a certain amount of steaks, a certain amount of chicken, a certain amount of popcorn. And when you run out of your popcorn money, you can't use your steak money to buy popcorn, or vice versa. Total control, enslavement. That's not going to happen. The 17th letter in the alphabet is winning, and the score is like 199,000 to nothing. The reality is this entity that we call, the deep state is bleeding profusely, but I do suspect, because nobody lasts in a fight this much, bleeding so profusely, and they're still in the fight, and they're still, an opponent. I believe someone's given them some kind of a blood infusion, behind the scenes, because there's no way. I mean, this war should have been over already a long time ago.
Yeah, but everything takes time, and I got frustrated on time too. But I realized this was a lot more complicated than I even thought in the beginning, and I think a lot of things had to play out. I mean, if we go back and say, yeah, it should have been over, a month after November of 2020, we would have never found out about all the snakes in the grass and all of the people. Well, one just came out in the news today. Good old Dr. Oz already turned around and stabbed Trump in the back and said that the MAGA movement is dying, it's drying up, and it's over, after Trump went out and actually endorsed him. So snakes are still coming out, and we're still seeing them. So I think this thing has to play out for that particular reason. So let's back up for just a minute and go back to Russia and some of the other world currencies. I believe that Russia is definitely prevailing. They're full steam ahead. They're trucking right along, and I believe there's going to be many, many more that are following suit with them too. I mean, they're now signing up with BRICS. They have been for quite a while. We've got India, we've got China, many other countries that are starting to sign up for BRICS. Now, I think BRICS is going to be they're going to go for the gold backed system. I believe that the petrodollar is completely gone, but Western currency, for me, Mel, and I said this at the beginning of the show, we're going to find out what you believe and what I believe when it comes to what is going to be the switch that's flipped that really takes this thing to a whole nother level. For me, it's BRICS. It's going to be when these countries sign up and decide that they're no longer going to accept Western currency. That's the domino that you're talking about, the last domino that needs to fall, which is the American economy collapses. And then this is when, whatever you want to call it, Trump Zara, Nasara Jasara, the Great Reset, whatever you want to tag it, I think that's when it's going to come into full effect. That's what I believe.
Well, you have to get everybody to a near death experience. You have to get people to believe that there's going to be a nuclear war. What a lot of Christians would like to call to get everybody to come to a Jesus moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to take. You have to kill something to build something new. Out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. The phoenix, make no mistake about it, is going to be XRP. It's not going to be Bitcoin. It's not going to be Ethereum. It's going to be the ISO tokens all day long. XLM, XDC. This is what's going to move the world. The old world, like I used to say all the time, You got 5 quadrillion moving in the old world. In the new world, because you got 1.8 billion unbanked who are going to get a universal basic income, who are going to come to work for you, Mike. They're going to come work for you because you got, you're worth $8 billion and you got, 92 different humanitarian projects. So you're going to employ 92 people that work 8-hour shifts times 3. Okay, so you're going to employ a bunch of people. So these people are going to have something to do. But getting back to Oz, okay, Dr. Oz, who threw Trump under the bus. Dr. Oz was exposed. He put him out there because Trump knew he was a snake in the grass. So he's got to show you that he's a snake in the grass. Now we all agree that the people that are in the truth movement knew that way before he was even chosen, that he was a snake in the grass. When he made the announcement, he says, okay, here we go. Another pawn being used on the chessboard. Trump is a genius.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And people don't understand that. People he comes up with words like kofifi. What is kofifi? You got to go to gematria calculator and put in kofifi to find out it means something else. Everything he says out of his mouth, every third word, people are running to the gematria calculator to find out what it is he's trying to tell us. How many times has Trump said the number 17? I got a video that's a minute and 43 seconds long. He says 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. How many times does he have to say it to tell you he's with that letter, the 17th letter in the alphabet? How many times does he have to draw it for you? You're in a movie. This is a movie.
He uses it quite often. I've seen it many, many times as well. But here's something that I want to say is, everybody here in the chat, everybody watching the show, I think everybody's kind of got their own opinion on how they think things are going to play out. Whether you believe Nasara Jassara or you don't believe Nasara Jassara, or you believe Trump czar, or you don't, or you believe the Great Reset is going to consume us all. The bottom line is, I don't care who you are, whoever's watching tonight, there is no way in hell that we're going to continue down the path that we're going, period. So something is going to cause the collapse of the American economy, and there are many, many other countries already collapsing. We've been seeing it with Sri Lanka. Cuba is getting ready. Venezuela is getting ready. There's going to be many, many other countries out there that are also going to collapse under the weight of everything that's going on right now. Now, I believe Russia is already out ahead of everybody, and they're not going to collapse. So you cannot deny the fact that there is going to be a major, major event here in America that is going to have to usher in something. So is it going to be the Great Reset with the New World Order, and we're all going to become more slaves than we already are? No, I don't think so. I don't think that is going to be allowed to happen. So there is going to be something that's going to be ushered in. I'm telling you right now, the petrodollar is gone. It's evaporated. The American currency, the Western currency, is going bye-bye. China is no longer going to accept it. Iran is no longer going to accept it. Pay attention to Israel. They're no longer going to accept Western currency. So what does that mean to the American dollar? Well, Andy said it best. All these countries out there that do have Western currency, they're shipping it back to us. When it all comes back to us, the collapse is going to happen. So I believe BRICS is the key to the shift that we're going to see. And it's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be pretty soon. Pretty soon.
Yeah. The XRP, I believe, has already merged with the Treasury. The Treasury, not too long ago, Richard Citizen journalist and Nancy Drew reported, they were reporting with their phones on, recording it and all of that. And all of a sudden, what happened was dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of police cars and not military, but prison-style buses pull up to the Treasury, and a lot of people went to prison. A lot of people, because why? Because the books didn't match. The books were cooked. No kidding. Mm-hmm. Tell us something we don't know. Okay? It's been going on forever. So now they almost got arrested for reporting it. Their phones got confiscated. The videos got deleted, but they both reported the same story. Mm-hmm. Why a company why a company like Ripple XRP is not allowed to leave the United States of America. They have options. They have offices all over the world. They're worth billions of dollars. I'll tell you why. Because that system, that monetary system, which was given to us by the Galactics, which is 500 million years old, which is proven, it's aged 500 million years, never made a mistake. They gave it to this guy who was reincarnated here by the name of David Schwartz, aka Satoshi Nakamoto. He's the guy who created Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't work. They went back to the drawing board. 2008, the housing bubble crashes, and they bring in XRP, the real Bitcoin, the one that does work, the one that's scalable, the 3.5 trillion. The reason why they're not allowed to leave, I'm sort of like Pulp Fiction. I keep going back and forth until I tell you the story. Okay, exactly. But I will tell you the reason why they're not allowed to leave, because that XRP is worth a lot of money. Not allowed to leave. I believe that this is my speculation, and I could be dead wrong. I believe in less than 5 or 6 years, XRP is not only the bridge currency that moves all of the money on Earth, but XRP is going to become the global reserve currency. XRP could very well become the new US dollar.
Something's going to become it for sure.
Yeah, somebody inside the government, because they do move mafia style, made XRP Ripple an offer they cannot refuse. But besides that fact, Ripple's not stupid. They know that the United States of America is always going to be the superpower. They would be stupid to move to another country. And besides, why should American ingenuity benefit Singapore or Japan or Australia or the United Kingdom? Right?
Good point. Here's a couple of questions for you. Currency reevaluated to where what I was told is currencies are going to be reevaluated, and they're getting done right now to where the currency is got a value of what the country's assets are. So if a country has a lot of petroleum or diamonds or something like that, that currency is backed. It's backed by assets instead of the fiat currency that's nothing but debt. And perfect. I truly believe that is the system that we will be under. Yeah. You can call it whatever you want. You can tag it with any acronym, any name, any initials. But I do believe that when this thing collapses, that there will be debt wiped out and everything has to be reset, and that the reset will be assets and it'll be gold-backed currency.
Gold-backed currency will be the rainbow currency that everybody says is coming out. I have no way of telling, but if there's any bank tellers out there that you stumble across a pallet or two of rainbow currency, would you kindly take a picture of it and send it to us, because I want to see it. Okay, there's these pictures circulating on the internet, but I want to see video. That's what I want. So the reality is, I think it's the other way around. I think you're going to see the tokenization. You've heard of tokenizing things, tokenizing artwork, tokenizing building, where you can own fractions of something, correct? Mm-hmm. You heard of that. I believe that XRP is going to tokenize the gold, because once you take the inventory of gold that is going to be used specifically for XRP and the amount of silver that's going to be used specifically for the amount of XLM, you cannot go back and finagle the bagel and change the outcome of that. You understand? Mm-hmm. That's why they're fighting the system. That's why that's why they've been manipulating the market. They want to get in cheap because they know the party's over. They want to buy as much as they can so that they can become multi-trillionaires. Unfortunately, some of these people are such criminals that where they're going, they're not going to be able to spend any of it anyway. That will be confiscated. You touched earlier on the reset versus the quantum finance. The reset is what they want, the communists. Yeah. Yes. Okay. The quantum financial system reset, Jassara Nassara, XRP, which is the bus that will drive Jassara Nassara, is what we want, yes. The Patriots, and we're winning. Okay. Yeah. See, about 3 years ago, I've told this story, many, many times, and I'll keep telling, because there's only 0.000001% of the world's population that's at the table that understand what this game is, and there's a lot of moving parts. Okay, but the reality is that these are all new people coming in, learning for the same. So we have to repeat the story over and over and over and over again for the new people. For the people that are already here, I always say, hey, go get your own damn channel and start your own stuff and go. We need people out there telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
But when I looked at this, Mike, 3 years ago, and I started to realize, wait a minute, somebody else is on the field. I thought Klaus Schwab 3 years ago, if you would have talked to me 3 years ago, I thought Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and all these, George Soroses of the world, I thought they were going to bring in the global reset and we're going into communism and that was going to be it.
Yeah.
I said, there's no way that there's only one team player on the team unopposed on the field, right? So when I realized that Jassara Nassara is not only here, listen, we got people in our room. I get chills talking about this. We got people in our room that are showing us receipts. No more college loans, car loans going away. I had a friend of mine, Dexter, call me a few months back, say, hey, I got two guys, but they don't want to come on camera. Their mortgages were forgiven. Home mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I got people in the UK that about a month and a half ago received their Q phones. So don't tell me nothing's happening. It might not be happening as fast as all of you would like, but I will tell you what. When you understand the movie, you start to muster one thing. It's called patience. Because you understand how big of an animal this is. I don't believe we're going to go into 2024. This is me. I could be wrong. I don't think we can go past this year or maybe the middle of next year, the very latest. Because otherwise, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. But you gotta bring those boxes of eggs up to $18. You got to bring the gallon of gas to $15 to wake up the normies. That's the only way they're going to wake up. When you see the normies.
Wait a minute, Mel. I just reported today that that Joe Biden is saving America. He's
saving.
Of course, I'm saying this sarcastically, but I did a report today with old Joe there where he's saving Americans with his reduction of fuel costs, $25 a month. Oh,
listen,
man.
when Americans have to wake up in the morning and they have to make a decision whether they put gas in the car and go to work,
yep,
or whether they have to buy groceries for their kids, then we have reached a breaking point, and we're almost there.
I think we're really close, and I believe gas is going to go back up. I was saying that sarcastically, but I could tell you it's just a false drop in the fuel cost. This guy did nothing. He went around the world. He got no commitment from anyone. He's selling our reserves to China and other places. It's just a stunt. That's all it is, a political stunt. So the IRS and the Fed building, we talked about that kind of off screen. I know we differ a little bit on what I tell people versus what you tell people, but I do believe that when this all shifts and happens, I don't think we're going to have the IRS anymore. I don't think that there's going to be certain taxes that we're going to pay anymore. We've been robbed for so long. It's a lot of it was against the Constitution, and that's where my stance is. Anything that's unconstitutional after this shift happens is going to go bye-bye. So unconstitutionally, if they've been taxing us, I believe that stuff is out the window.
Well, you've been traded ever since you came out of your mother.
Yep.
As soon as you come out of your mother, they put some ink on your feet. They print your feet on some piece of paper. They do some paperwork, and they the people who actually made you, that conceived you, your mother and father become the parents, and they're renting you. Parents. The name is telling you everything. Okay, they're renting you to what? The corporation where you're being traded. My friend Logan sent me a message the other day. He said, "Mel, you're not going to believe this. I got 65,000 companies trading me." Imagine. 65,000 companies.
Okay, so here's my stance on that. I know there was people out there making comment about birth certificates, and I don't believe in that stuff as far as cashing them in, but this is what I do believe. I've always believed that we've been a slave to our government, and that they have definitely treated us like we were chattel, whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
I do believe that there's been a price on our head for a very, very, very long time. And have they been trading us around the world? Yeah, I really do believe that we're nothing more than a social security number, a number. Now, can you go cash that in? No, I don't believe that at all. But yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people need to wake up to, that we have really been slaves for a very, very, very long time. And I think finally a lot of people have discovered it, or at least started talking about it. And now people are waking up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will tell you that, like I say, I always say there's a lot of moving parts. And like, a few months ago, you didn't believe Jasara Nasara was real. Here we are. Say, Mel, you got me scratching my head.
It's
And you and I go to
definitely
the same barber,
it,
right?
yeah, we go to the same barber. Is definitely something happening that people can't explain, and the only way I explain it is the fact that there's a shift happening. I feel it. I
Yeah,
see it. I've done a lot of research on it, and for me personally, like you said, there's two different things. There's either the Great Reset, which Billy Gates and the rest of them are all involved in to enslave us, or you're going to have Nasar Jasar, whatever you want to call it. I don't even care at this point.
yeah,
Um, and I believe in the latter. I believe that God, this is God's mission. This is God's movement across not only America but around the world. And there's no way that we lose this battle. We are going to win. We've already won, and good will prevail. And I believe that the collapse of whatever you want to call them, black hats, cabal, evil SOBs, whatever you want to tag those guys. I see it happening right now before my eyes, and I'm telling you right now, those guys will be rounded up. And some people believe they already have, and some people believe things already happened behind the scenes. I don't know. I can't prove it has or it hasn't. So until I see more proof, it is my belief that at least they're going to be rounded up and there will be justice. Period.
Well, there are people that really, really take, doing their homework to the next level, and I've seen people who have done that on video, on YouTube, on Rumble, and so on, where they were side by side comparisons. There's no denying. First of all, Biden, the original guy, was righty. He would sign righty. Now he's lefty. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
number one, anomaly.
Yeah.
The original guy had a birthmark.
Anomaly.
Yeah, anomaly. Right. The original guy had a birthmark. This guy doesn't have a birthmark. The original guy had a longer teeth. This guy's got shorter teeth. The original guy had a earlobe that goes like down a little bit. This guy goes straight down. These are things that you can't just say they don't exist. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So the reason, okay, let's just say that the guys from the 17th movement are correct, which I believe they are. I believe they have their finger on the pulse. That's why they can't stand us. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe many of us together, we have the pretty much a lot of the picture. I won't say the full picture because there's a,
Well,
a lot of misinformation
I
out
want
there.
to make comment on what you just said about Joe Biden, because I'm in the same camp with you, Mel. I think there's too many things that just they don't pass the smell test. This guy is not the same guy. Even that doctor I told you behind the scenes, the doctor for Bush, the same guy. He was the doctor for Bush, he was the doctor for Obama, and he was the doctor for Trump. He even said Joe Biden is not the same person. Now, whether people read that as well, he means mentally, or if you read it a different way, that's not the same guy that's even there. I don't believe it's the same guy at all. So this guy is either gone mentally, or call it whatever you want. I don't believe in clones, but I definitely believe in actors. I definitely believe people can put on some amazing masks and do all kinds of things. Is this a guy playing the part? I have no proof of it, but I can tell you what I've seen definitely does not add up. There's just too much there that we've all seen, and we've all really spotlighted it over time on how does this add up. Here's a thing for you, Mel, before I get to the next question.
Sure.
um, the fact that this man, and even even Caleb McEnany, who used to be the press secretary for Trump, said on Fox News that Joe Biden has not had any press conferences from the Oval Office as president of the United States. Why
Correct.
are they still using a stage across the street from the White House? Why is this guy not seem like he's the president of all at all? He just
Because
doesn't play
yeah,
the part.
because he's the resident. He's not the president.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. He's a resident, not the president. The guy that's playing Joe Biden, whether he be a clone or not, I will tell you, I was very skeptical about a year and a half ago, and I said to somebody in my room, I said, "There's no way that they have cloning perfected." He said, "Mel, how old are you?" And I said, "I was born in '63." He says, "It's been perfected since 1962. They've had it for a long time." What would be? Let's speculate with the audience. What would be the reason? What would be the reason why they would have cloning? Because there are loyalists of Obama. There are loyalists of Hillary Clinton. There are loyalists of George Soros. There's loyalists of Fauci. That they would burn down cities and burn down cars and beat up little old ladies. So to make everything calm, they show you the clone. These people, what you watch in Washington D.C. is not what you see. Is not what you get. It's a little tough pill to swallow. I get it, believe me. And we're not nuts. We're nuts like a fox. Okay, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Everybody you think, even Kamala Harris, is not Kamala Harris.
Well,
These
I'm going to
people have
say
been
this.
dealt with. Yeah.
I'm going to say this.
Mhm.
I know for a fact because I was concerned about it, and this goes back to I think it was 1998 ish. I think it was 1998. They cloned their first sheep, and that is fact. So I do believe that there is cloning, at least cloning of plants, and at least cloning of mammals, meaning animals, and who knows what else they've cloned. Okay, I'll just make that statement. That doesn't mean I necessarily believe that some of these people are clones, but I do believe that there can be paid actors. There can be people that definitely wear masks. This is where I get a little skeptical, which is the voiceovers. But I do know this as well. They have technology that you can use. I don't know if it's close to your voice box or what they do with it, but there is technology out there where you can sound just like the real person. So I don't know. Some of that stuff is kind of, it's just kind of back and forth. We can prove one
Yeah,
thing, we can
there
prove
was
the other.
CGI. They did CGI where the Pope was outside the window doing some of
I
this
seen
stuff.
that. I
Okay,
seen that.
and
I've
then he
seen that.
disappears.
Mm-hmm.
CGI. The Pope could have been in the Bahamas for all I know.
Mm-hmm. How
Okay,
about how about the CGI that I showed a year ago, where Biden is coming on stage to do a press conference and half of his head was gone?
there's so many of these stories out there. You just
Yeah.
can't
Or
say
how about when his hand goes through the microphone?
yes.
Jeff B and I tore that one up one night. His hand went through the microphone.
So
So
you
you
see, you're
know, it's
answering a lot of your own questions, Mike.
well, I'm just saying that the possibilities are have always been there, and it's really hard to discern which one it is. But are there things going on, and they're playing uh, parts or CGIs or whatever? Yeah, I believe a lot of that stuff definitely is out there in one way or another.
Mm.
And if you pay attention to it, a lot of it you can see for yourself.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think we all suffer from one thing. It's called we're all a bunch of assholes. We ask a lot of questions, don't we?
Mm-hmm. A lot of
Okay,
questions. A lot of questions. Here's my next question,
sure.
because I seen it. I seen it in chat, and I thought it was a pretty good question. And this is one that I just really pay attention to it and try not to read too much into it. But somebody like you may be able to set some of the records straight for people. What about Social Security? What's going to happen? What do you believe is going to happen to Social Security, and how does it look for the future. Because me personally, um, and I don't want to make people mad. I want to be clear. I believe that everybody who has paid into Social Security, including myself, deserves something back. Okay, Social Security was a socialist program, so I lean more toward Trump had a great idea of for the future for us to pay into something like that, and we have the freedom of choice to put our money where we want it to go. Um, do I think Social Security is going to go bye bye? I think it will, but I don't want to scare anybody. I think, like you said, Trump's a genius, and so are a lot of these other people. I don't think that it's going to be wiped clean and people are going to be left hanging. I think there'll be something there that will replace it. And I am in the hopes that it's something like what Trump had put out there, like guys like me that still have to work. It'll what I put into it will be put into the new system, and then I'll have more options and more choices to either put in or don't put in or move it around or cash it out. The freedom of choice. And so, what are your thoughts on that, Mel?
Well, I think that Social Security, because they have an infinity of wealth, there's so much abundance on Earth. They've been making us believe through media, through social media, through everything, through radio, newspapers, magazines, since the beginning of time, that everything is scarce. There is no scarcity. That's just an illusion. There's such an abundance, okay, that when they unleash this universal basic income, and I'm going to add something to that in a little bit, you're talking about anywhere between five numbers have been thrown around, and I think they're pretty accurate, between $5,000 and $6,000 a month. How many people do you know are getting a $5,000 or $6,000 a month Social Security? I don't know of any.
Nobody that I know.
Okay, so if they were
I
going to
know a lot of people that are getting a couple of $100 and scraping by, and now they're in a position to where they have to choose, like you said, do I put gas in my tank or do I put food on my table? I mean, things are tough for people right now, and Social Security, in my opinion, was always a scam. It was a way for our federal government to steal from us and to use it however they see fit. The Social Security account has been robbed multiple times. That is theft of the American people, and these people
okay,
should be held accountable for it.
in 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, you're going to call me back probably maybe more than once. And you're going to say, holy shit, Mel, you're right. And what's going to end up happening is the UBI that is going to replace your Social Security. Let's say your Social Security is going to be $2,000 a month. But they're going to say, you know what, Mike, don't worry about your Social Security. Social Security is no longer. We're going to give you a universal basic income of $6,000 a month. But your Social Security was $2,000 a month. Are you going to complain?
No.
You won't. And neither will a lot of people. Neither will a lot of people. So there's plenty of wealth. There's plenty of gold. There's plenty of resources, endless resources. I'm telling you that this is going to come to pass. It might take another 2, 3 years at the very outside. I don't think it will take that long. I say the latest it will be like 2025. Because this is like
So
this
it
Jasara airplane is on the runway, but the runway is 2,000 miles long, and it's
mhm.
a big airplane that's got to get off the air. For this thing to be
So
full throttle, it's still going to take a little while. But you're starting to see things that start to point in the direction. That's why I always say I feel sorry for the XRP Army 1.0, and I love these guys like my brothers and my sisters because I learned so much from them. Okay, but they're going to have no choice. They're going to have no choice and to come over and sing the Jasara Nasara song. I promise you, that's going to happen. The universal basic income. Why do you think Trump is as calm as a feather?
he is very calm. He
He
is
is so
very calm.
confident. You know
Yeah.
why? Because if you are occupying any country illegally, it doesn't matter whether it's the United States or whether you're occupying Poland illegally or whether you're occupying Australia illegally, it doesn't matter. When it comes down that Jasara Nasara is in full swing and it's ready to go, okay, in order for you to receive your universal basic income, you can't do it as an illegal alien in the United States or Poland or anywhere in the world. You got to get back to your country of origin.
Hmm.
That's why Trump is as cool as a cucumber. He doesn't give a crap because he knows as soon as they announce UBI, Jasara Nasara, there's going to be a mass exodus out of the United States. You know
Okay.
why? Because when we make Guatemala great again, when we make San Salvador great again, there's no reason for you to be in the United States of America. What happens
Exactly.
now if we bring the prices down to 1970? Okay, some people say 1950, but let's say 19. Because what happens is now we got the XRP, which is scalable to 3.5 trillion transactions per second. If you want to do your homework, go to YouTube, put in XRP, trillions of transactions per second. A video will pop up. I believe it's Working Money Channel. Watch that video. You'll understand what I'm talking about. It's already been proven. Okay? So once that happens, once that reality sets in, okay, and they clear up the Nostro Vostro accounts. What are the Nostro Vostro accounts? The Nostro Vostro accounts are nothing more than about $47 trillion sitting dormant in all these banks around the world because they need to do commerce and because they're using an old system that's as old as when I moved to the United States back in 1972, the SWIFT system, which is outdated. It's a dinosaur, okay? They can no longer use that system. They're going to use the XRP system. But because the XRP system moves at lightning speed, you don't need to have all this dormant money sitting inside these Nostro Vostro accounts. So just that alone is going to bring inflation down tremendously. So there's a lot of, like I say, there's always a lot of moving parts. It's not something that one person could figure out. That's why I put together a Telegram group. You guys can join my Telegram. I'm going to extract this video, by the way. And down below, join our Telegram group. If you want to learn about this stuff, you go to qfs1776.com. Immerse yourself. We're not going to spoon feed it to you. You got to learn it because we're burning down the old system and we're never going back.
Yeah.
Watch the videos.
The old
Yeah.
system is definitely coming down. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button. We got about 1,800 people in here and less than 500 likes. Smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And more importantly, share this video out. It's really helping build the audience here. Here's a couple of things that I want to touch on real quick,
Sure.
Mel. First of all, the universal wealth or whatever you called it there, is that only going to be for Social Security recipients, or are you talking about the whole world? Because then that brings me into quite a few other questions. I can see maybe for the Social Security, but I like the fact that if people wanted to get paid, they had to go home to their own country. And maybe that is why Trump is just kind of sitting back, letting things happen, because when that kicks off, then people have to rush home. That'd be great. So could you just maybe touch on that just a little bit more, which will lead me into my next question.
Touch on the universal basic income that you will not be able to collect it.
Is that going to be just for Social Security people, or is that worldwide that everybody would get something like that?
That's going to be for
And that's
everybody.
why everybody's rushing home.
That's everybody's going to have. Everybody's going to who needs a universal basic income is going to get a universal basic income, but they're going to have to do something for it. We're not just going to hand it to you, and you're not going to sit home and twiddle your thumbs. That's not going to happen. Okay. What their plan is, what their overall plan is, like I say, the boys and girls upstairs already know every aspect of this plan. But it's such a huge. We're talking about the biggest transfer of wealth, guys. This is not a small undertaking. This is huge.
Mm-hmm.
This is big.
So but you just said for those who need it. So and they have to earn
if
it.
you have, let's say, for example, 100,000 XRP, and each XRP we believe are going to be conservatively $50,000 to $100,000 because we're going into a new world, not the old world. Market cap, flush that down the toilet. That's done. We're going into a new world that's going to be, 50 quadrillion dollars a year moving. Why? Because of the UBI. Okay, all of that money has to travel through something. It's going to travel through the XRP, XLM, XDC system, and therefore that's how that's going to work. But the reality is, if you, for example, Mike, you got 100,000 XRP that are worth $100,000 each, you're not going to come to knock on the government's door and say, "Hey, I need my $6,000 a month."
True.
You're not eligible, and there's going to be a lot of us. By the way, there's going to be a lot of us.
So that leads me into the next question, because you kind of brushed on it a minute ago, and I'm trying to wrap my head around some of this stuff. and I appreciate the conversation. It's very interesting. Um, so if people, and this is where I differ from some of this stuff, and that's why I'm trying to ask this question. If people who need it get the 5 or 6 thousand dollars a month, but they've got to work for it a little bit, or work for it, period, and then the rest of us who may have played our cards right don't need it at all. Where does that put world economy for people actually having to work? Is it going to be? Is there still going to be trashmen and people working at McDonald's and stuff like that? Because that's where I'm trying to wrap my head around things. If everybody is wealthy, or at least taken better care of than they are now, some of those entry level jobs, who's going to be doing the entry level jobs?
Well, we all know that artificial intelligence is very real. What the cabal wanted, they wanted to do away with all of us by, getting that thing inside all of us so that we can all go bye-bye. Unfortunately, these people that did that are probably not going to be here in 3 to 5 years. I don't believe so. And then just have artificial intelligence do all the work for them, which tells you that if they have access to artificial intelligence, because part of Jassara and Nasara is they're going to release about 6,000 patents. Okay, a lot of it's got to do with free energy technology. They already have a tower, a Tesla tower in Texas. Look it up.
Hmm.
It's already
Yeah,
producing.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a little. That's a little crumb. They gave you a little crumb. Say, here it is, so that it gets some people scratching their head. And then people who have
Okay.
shows like Mike, they call me because they say, Mel's in the movie theater 18 hours a day. I want to find out what else he knows. Okay. But artificial intelligence is going to work for us as well. See, we're going into a new world that it's very spiritual. This is the great awakening. You understand? And you
Yep.
have to elevate your mind to a fifth density, sixth density, because that's where we're going. The people that want to stay in the matrix and the 3D, they're not going to graduate with us. You could stay asleep, or you can get off the Colgate and the scope and all that poisonous stuff. Start using clean stuff. Clean your mind. Okay, clean your pineal gland. You would be surprised at what your mind is capable of doing and thinking when your mind is clear thinking. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
yes, the artificial intelligence is going to work for us. I'm just speculating. Maybe, Mike, you like to paint portraits of sceneries or paint portraits of people, and because you don't no longer need the money, instead of selling that artwork because you enjoy it so much because that's your passion, you give it away to somebody. What's
Okay.
wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that. I'm still trying to wrap my head around people having, some of us having way more than we need, and some of us having better than what we had in the old system, which I believe things are definitely going to be better. But we talked about people doing humanitarian projects. If everybody has more than what they need, or at least better than what we had in the past, why would there be a need for humanitarian projects if everybody is getting the 5 or 6 thousand dollars a month that they need? Why would we have these humanitarian projects? Or are you insinuating that some of us are going to be in the arts? Which, hey, that's not a bad thing. More musicians, more art, people doing things that they want to do instead of things that they're forced to do. That makes definitely a better world for all of us. And I'm just curious, is there going to have to be those projects if everybody is kind of in that state where they don't really require it, and
I'll
I'm
give
I'm
you.
talking I'm talking
Yeah.
like third world countries. We see the poverty around the world, people starving. Um, if they're all getting this type of funding, then would they need our help any longer?
Well, there are humanitarian projects that have nothing to do with humans. For
Oh boy,
example,
here we go.
yeah. For
Okay,
example,
I'm
there
listening.
are the coral reefs of the world have been destroyed.
Yeah.
There will be projects to rebuild our coral reefs, and there could be millions of us involved in that project.
Okay.
Okay, and people who are wealthy are going to possibly donate their time because they probably traveled the world. They probably saw everything there is to see, and now there's nothing left to see. So they donate their time in helping to build the coral reef. Or how about cats? How about dogs? How about horses?
Okay. No,
There are endless.
I'm picking up what you're laying down, Mel. I'm picking up what you're laying down. How about pollution of certain areas that need to be gone in and cleaned up? So I understand now what you're saying by these humanitarian projects. So that's why I'm asking the question, because to
Mhm.
me, humanitarian projects, and yes, there's going to be a lot of building that needs to go on. I mean, some of these third world countries still need good housing, so there's going to be projects doing that. Um, there's going to be people that maybe can help educate our children the right way instead of the indoctrination. So people get freed up to maybe give more time to that. So I guess I'm kind of seeing what you're talking about there, that this changes life for people, and allows them the opportunity to maybe do things that they've always wanted to do. Well, here's a huge, huge humanitarian project. So you tell me what you think about this, Mel. How about the drug epidemic of not just the United States, but around the world? Because I was in the park the other day. I saw some homeless people. Some of them are drug addicts. What a humanitarian project that would be for us to try to clean up and help our fellow Americans and our fellow human beings out there. One, go through rehab, get clean, and have a great life. That would be a huge undertaking in itself.
Absolutely. There's millions of homeless people. There's millions of people that are on drugs. You can have humanitarian project after humanitarian project until the cows come home. Believe me. And there'll be plenty of people volunteering, and there'll be plenty of people that can go to some special website, say, I'm getting $6,000 a month, but I got to go put in a 30-hour week. Let me go, and you pick, okay, I want to go work with the horses. I want to go work with the cats. I want to go work with whatever you want to work with. And you sign up for that project and you report to work. So, listen, we're going into a new world. I don't have all the answers. I wish I did. I sit here and speculate and sort of try and dream up what it's going to be like. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm trying to sort of live in their mind to try and figure out what they're thinking about what this new world is going to be like. And to me, that's fun. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
I'm a dreamer, so I can sit here all night with you and speculate all kinds of dreams. I dream big all the time. I'm
Yeah,
just trying to wrap my head around the information that you have to question you and see what can you tell me to get me to wrap my mind around all this. And I think you've done a great job in answering those questions tonight. I did have a funny question from a very close friend of mine who said, hey, Mike, ask Mel how much the chair cost.
I knew that was going to come. I knew that was going to come. I'll tell you a story about the chair. Somebody said to me yesterday, Liana, she says, Mel, she goes, you got a big ego, but your heart is just as big as your ego. And it is. I love people. I love to help people. I want to help as many people as possible make the transition. That's what we're actually doing our humanitarian project before it's even required, Mike. We have a Telegram channel. We have Telegram channels that are exceeding 27,000 people that we're helping transition over into this new world that nobody knows how to navigate. And I realized, because when my wife went, not to get off track here, I don't want to digress, but when my wife went to go buy these digital assets and I realized how hard it was, I said, we got to do something about this. So I jumped into action. I'm an action kind of guy. Okay. And immediately I started and I didn't know how intuitive Telegram was. People were putting in, XRP, QFS, Jasara, Nasara, and any of those phrases or individual, whatever, my page would come up. People were starting to join. Then all of a sudden what happened was Whiplash and Emily started to, because I'm a boisterous kind of guy. If I have something in my head, I got to put it in voice. And I'm always in the chat room leaving a voice message of sort. And some of these voice messages, unbeknownst to me, all of a sudden ended up on, QSI, ended up on Whiplash. And all of a sudden people were joining like in the hundreds per day. I'm like, where are these people coming from? And then somebody would send me a snapshot, say, hey, Whiplash just put you on his page, or Emily just put you in her page.
That's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a world that we're getting into, Mike. That I can't wait to go into this like time continuum, if you will, and open up this age of Aquarius and see what it really has to offer and see where we missed the mark, where we were correct, because I'm sure we didn't get everything correct, but you can't deny the times we're living in right now. Okay.
Yeah, no kidding.
And getting, and not to digress also, getting back to the cloning real quick, I think we need to make a point. The CIA cloning, there's this gentleman that I told you that was inside my room that told me that it was perfected pretty much in 1962. He said, Mel, if you like, he goes, I could send you the all the paperwork. He goes, it's 19,000 pages. I said, I don't want to read 19. I don't have time to read 19,000 pages. But he was ready to press the button and send me 19,000 pages document so I could sit there and read all about it.
Wow.
It's out there. The information's out there. The lawsuit with XRP Ripple. You're familiar with that, correct?
Yes. Yeah, you talked about it the last time,
right?
That you were on.
That I don't know if I hit on the fact last time. I don't think I did. That Garlinghouse and David Schwartz and Christine Lagarde were invited to go down to Antarctica.
No,
what in the world?
I don't think you touched on that last time.
Right. What in the world? First of all, there's 15,900 assets, digital assets. There's only one that has a lawsuit, which was settled, by the way. It's in our page. If you go to QFS 1776, all of our social media is linked up at the top. Okay, and you can go watch the video. It's there. It's the lawsuit was actually settled October 1st of 2021, and we have the documentation. We actually went in the Wayback Machine. All right, Emily from QSI did a bang up job. Okay, it's all there. You can't argue with the fact that this is all kabuki theater for the public because they're not ready yet. Okay. And what is Garlinghouse and David Schwartz and Christine Lagarde doing down in Antarctica? Why not another coin? Why this one? Why XRP? Why is the lawsuit only with this one? You gotta scratch your head a little bit. Correct?
Oh yeah.
Because it's the one that's going to be the one. That's why. Because it's the one that's going to be the one. The one they don't want you to pay attention to. That's why they got this shiny object up here that doesn't do nothing. Okay? Called Bitcoin. It's an object failure. Okay? And then you got Ethereum, which is going to be taken over by Sparkflare. There's no doubt in my mind. Okay? So what were they doing in Antarctica? You got to ask the question. You got to ask the question.
I'll ask the question. Hey, Mel, what were they doing in Antarctica?
They were figuring out how they're going to carve up this pie, who gets what, and all of that stuff. And they were doing it with people. And I know there's some Christians, and I don't mean to offend anybody out there because that's not my intent. But there are some people that are not. It's people say, oh, these extraterrestrials, they're all fallen angels. No, not all of them are fallen angels. A lot of them are real people with real planets, with real cultures, with real flying saucers, with real food, with real animals, with real everything like we have on this planet. And they are playing a very intricate part in this most historical time of how this whole thing goes down.
Very interesting. I'm not there. I'm not there yet on that part of it. I'm not there yet.
You will call me the year.
I've been struggling with that one for quite a while.
I know.
I just I'll get there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that you have a great sense about you, Mel. And, you know, the stuff that you're putting out, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and you've done your research. You've got your areas of expertise. And so I just appreciate the conversation. We can disagree and still be on the same side about anything. So
getting back to the chair. Getting back to the chair.
Getting back to the chair.
Getting back to the chairs. I forgot to answer your question. The chair costs a lot of money. You see, I live in a third world country. I live in Costa Rica, but I live in a very nice neighborhood. It's one of the last middle class towns left, and there's a few. Atenas in the town I live in as well. But anyway, needless to say, I had an office chair that I needed to get repulstored. The guy took it apart and never put it back together again. I spent a bunch of money. Anyway, that's just the way it goes in third world countries, not just Costa Rica. But anyway, so my wife said, "Hey, why don't we go to Karen and her husband, because we bought a bunch of pieces from them, and I bet you they could probably do it." So they said, "Yeah, we could do it." But when I got there was a chair sort of like this, but it was more straight. And I said, "Karen, you copied this chair from somebody?" She said, "Yeah." This is I was in Fort Lauderdale on vacation. I said, "Do you happen to have a picture of that chair, right? When you were on vacation?" She goes, "As a matter of fact, I do." So the worst thing she could have done is show me a picture of the chair. I said, "Listen, if you could build the one that's in the picture, I want the chair. I'll leave you a $500 deposit." And voila, the chair was born. I showed it to Suzanne, my producer, and while it was under construction, it took like a month and a half to build this thing. And she said, "Brilliant." She goes, "This is great for marketing." I said, "Oh yeah, I got the right producer, man." Because I'm a marketing guy too, right? So yeah, that's how the chair. But it cost a lot of money. It cost a lot more than $500. Let's just put it that way.
Well, it's a good looking chair. I'm not gonna lie. It is definitely a good looking chair. Looks comfortable. I'm glad you enjoy it. It looks like a good piece. But a buddy of mine texted me and said, "Hey, ask him how much the chair." Obviously, you've been asked the question before.
If I ever become real famous, where what you would call it, YouTube stops messing with the algorithms and allows me to grow to whatever number, I'll maybe put it up for auction one day, and somebody could get the bragging right, say, "Hey, I bought Mel's chair."
I like that. I like that a lot. Well, guys, if you haven't subscribed to us yet, please do so. Hit that like button. But more importantly, I know Mel's going to grab this video and put it out, but share this video out. Lots of great information and a lot of connecting the dots, whether you want to agree to disagree with whether the way I believe or the way that Mel believes. A lot of stuff is still yet to be seen, and I think a lot of it is going to be seen. And, we can all come together and have great conversations and go back and forth about things without having to tear one another down. And
Absolutely.
that's what I appreciate about the Patriot movement is, we all have our own thoughts and our own beliefs, but yet the ultimate goal is for us to get our country back. Plain and simple, is to get our country back and put God back in this country. At least it is for me. That's one of my number one goals, is to get God back in this country, because without God, I think that's why we're at where we're at. So Mel, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight. As we roll into final thought, I've seen some of your videos that you've been putting out lately, and you guys check Mel out. I know his link has been dropped in chat several times. You guys can grab that and go over there. Check out. He has some really neat shows. I've seen a few of them, man. You've had some really unique people on your show, and I enjoy listening to the conversations, man. Some of it gets pretty deep.
Yeah,
really deep.
Yeah, we got Dr. Sandra Michael Rose coming up Saturday, 4 p.m.
Nice.
Mountain Standard Time, and she's got technology that is healing people. Not technology that needs to be built, and we got a part in India and a part in Taiwan. No. This is technology that's already, there's about 8 or 10 locations around the United States. People are having all kinds of healing information, stuff happening to them. I'll give you one story, and then we'll let you go. One of these facilities opened up in one of these strip malls, I believe, and there was a guy 3 doors down that needed knee replacement surgery. This is a true story. And what happened was, he did not know that this scalar wave technology on steroids opened up 3 doors down from him. And he was scheduled to go in for surgery in 3 weeks. So picture this. He starts to feel better and better because of the frequency travels for a couple of miles, and people's bodies start to work properly. The technology doesn't heal you. The technology just puts your cellular structure back into communication, where your cells are producing healthy cells, and your body starts to react in the way that it wants to react, and your body's actually healing itself. Okay. The pain starts to go away every day, less and less and less, to 2 weeks later, He calls his doctor, says, listen, I have no more pain. Zero. I don't know why. He cancels the surgery. Cancels the surgery. The water that he was drinking was also being charged, and the molecular structure of the water was being changed. He was drinking the water and being around this frequency because he's in this business 10, 12 hours a day. He was getting the benefit free of charge from this business that opened up 2 doors. They had 24 units of this stuff. I mean, unbelievable success story. And now she's obviously she's had a couple of death threats. She's got more security than Donald Trump. She's got military around her, seriously. And we're interviewing her this coming Saturday at 4:00. You guys might want to watch this interview because it's going to be absolutely nuclear.
Oh,
nuclear.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I may be fishing Saturday, but I'll definitely catch the rerun as long as it can stay up. Is any of that stuff you worried about it getting taken down off of YouTube, Mel? Do you have backups that we can go?
I got backups and I got backups to the backups. I'm very redundant. I got a Rumble channel. If I'm not mistaken, let me see if I can get to my channel right now. I'll give you guys it's XRP altogether. XRP QFS team, TEAM, and the number 1. That's the channel that's in jail for another 10, 12 days or so. And then if you go to the same channel, XRP QFS team altogether with the number 2 at the end, that's the channel that we're going to be probably uploading your video to for now.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, we got 95,000 people following us on all platforms now. Imagine.
That is truly amazing. We're getting there slowly but surely. But everything that is being revealed right now is coming to light. And so my final thought for tonight is, folks, what a great guest that we've had here with Mel. And chin up, stand tall, keep the faith, don't throw in the towel, and more importantly, show people respect and give people an opportunity to speak and listen, and don't be quick to judge. And hey, everybody has a right to their own opinion, and we still can fight on the right side to win this country back. All right, Mel, thank you so much for joining us tonight, brother. I'll be in contact. For those of you who are sticking with us till the end of this show, for the end of this song, God bless each and every one of you. Have a great night, and I will see you back here tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sharp, folks. Sharp. We got the new intro. I think I'll go ahead and play it on the way out. Thank you, Mel. Talk to you later. So as far as the Patriot movement, and that's what LWN is, we are part of many patriots out there searching for the truth and delivering the news like it should be delivered.